All right, this is going to be our walkthrough for the homework assignment titled Integrating by Dividing by a Binomial. So for each of these, we're going to take the rational function that's in our numerator, and we're just going to divide it using synthetic division. You could use long division if you want, but I prefer synthetic division. We're going to divide it by that binomial, and then we're just going to use that to integrate this, right? Because we're going to get a nice, easy function to integrate. So to use synthetic division, we'll put the 2 up in the box because that's what makes x minus 2 equal to 0. We'll put the coefficients 1x squared minus 5x and 7 plus 7 going across. We always drop the 1 down first, then multiply that by what's in the box, which makes 2. We'll add the two numbers, -5 and 2 makes -3, and then we'll multiply that by what's in the box, getting -6, add those together to get 1. So this integral is the same as the integral of 1x minus 3, and then we take our remainder and put it over our original denominator. So now this is what we want to integrate. And so as we do this, we should recognize that these two pieces integrate really nicely, whereas the 1 over x minus 2, not quite as well. So the x is x squared over 2, and then the minus 3 is minus 3x. And then we're going to just throw that constant in there, and we're going to then add it to the integral of 1 over x minus 2 dx, except what we'll do is we'll let u equal x minus 2, and then du is dx, which means that all this is becoming is the integral of du over u. Well, really, then all we have is x squared over 2 minus 3x plus a constant, and then plus the integral of du over u, which is the natural log of the absolute value of u, or the natural log of the absolute value of x minus 2. Plus some other constant. Well, one constant plus another constant is just a constant. And so this is the kind of integral that we want to be able to do in our heads, because it's a simple u sub where u is x minus 2 and du is dx. If this was like a 2x minus 2, then that's a little bit more problematic. So we'll see a couple like that, or at least one. But from now on, I'm just going to do this integration without writing out the substitution if the binomial in that denominator has a coefficient of 1 on the x. So here we're going to divide x cubed minus 5x plus 2 by x minus 1. We'll put a 1 in the box for the x minus 1. We'll put 1 for the x cubed, a 0 for 0x squared, a minus 5 for the x, and a positive 2 at the end. And we'll just do our synthetic division. The 1 comes down first. We multiply it by what's in the box, and it goes in the next column. We add the column together and multiply it by what's in the box to get the next column. We add those together to get -4, multiply by the 1 in the box, and add them together to get -2. So this integral becomes an integral of now 1x squared, we drop down by a power, plus x minus 4, and then minus 2, our remainder, over our original denominator. And now each of these can be done really easily. X squared is x cubed over 3. X is x squared over 2. Minus 4 is minus 4x. And then because the coefficient on that x is a 1, that's a very simple u sub, where if u is x minus 1, du is dx. So this just comes like 2 over u du. Right? So it's 2 natural log absolute value of u, or minus 2 natural log absolute value of x minus 1, plus, of course, your constant. So we should be able to do this integral in our heads. All right, for our next one here, we're just again going to do the synthetic division. We're going to put this time a -2 in the box, because that's what makes that denominator 0. A 2x cubed, a 4x squared, a minus 2x, and a minus 1. The 2 comes straight down. For our synthetic division, we multiply those together to get -4. 2 times -2. We add those to get 0. multiply 0 by the negative 2 in the box, we get 0. Add the negative 2 and the 0 in that column to make negative 2. Multiply the negative 2 in the box by the negative 2 down here to get a positive 4, and then add those to get 3. So this integral is the same as the integral of now 2x squared, right, because we dropped down a power, plus 0x, so I don't need to bother to write that, and then minus 2 plus the remainder of 3 over our original x plus 2 that was in the denominator. And so this just becomes 2/3 x cubed minus 2x. And again, this is a simple u sub here, where u is x plus 2 and du is dx. So it just becomes 3 natural log absolute value of x plus 2, and of course plus c. For our next one here, we don't have a simple binomial like x minus a, but we probably would note that I can factor an x out of both the numerator and out of the denominator. And if I do that, I can then cancel out those x's, giving me now an integral of just x cubed plus x plus 1 over x plus 4 dx. And so now I can use synthetic division to see what those divide out to become. All right, so we'll put the negative 4 from the denominator in the box, because that's what makes that equal to 0. A 1x cubed, a 0x squared, a 1x, and a plus 1. Start with the 1 coming down. Multiply by the negative 4. Add 0 and negative 4 to make negative 4. Multiply the negative 4 below the line by the 1 in the box, gives you 16. Add those together, gives you 17. Multiply 17 by negative 4 gives you negative 68. And 1 plus negative 68 is negative 67. So this just becomes an integral of dropping down 1 power to 1x cubed minus 4x, I'm sorry, not 1x cubed, 1x squared. I was looking at this, but we actually dropped down to cubed here. So 1x squared minus 4x plus 17 minus our remainder of 67 over x plus 4. And our integration just becomes x cubed over 3 minus 4x squared over 2, or minus 2x squared, plus 17x. And again, another simple u sub here. U is x plus 4. Du is dx, so that just becomes 67 over u, or 67 natural log absolute value of the u, which is x plus 4. And of course, after all that work, don't forget the plus c. All right, for our next one here, we're just, once again, going to do the exact same thing. Put a negative 3 in the box, because that's what makes the denominator 0. A 2x to the 4th, a 0x cubed, a 0x squared, a minus 1x, and a minus 1 going across. Drop the 2 below. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. 0 plus negative 6 is negative 6. That negative 6 times the negative 3 in the box is 18. 0 and 18 is 18. 18 times negative 3 is negative 54. Negative 1 minus 54 is negative 55. Negative 55 times negative 3 is going to be a positive 165. And add the negative 1 and the 165 together to get 164. Now it's just a nice easy integral. The integral of 2x cubed, because we dropped down 1 power, minus 6x squared plus 18x minus 55 plus 164, our remainder, over our original denominator. And we integrate using the power rule. X cubed goes up to x to the 4th, and we divide the 2 by the 4, gives us 1/2 x to the 4th. And then minus a x cubed, and we'll divide by 3, so minus 2x cubed. And then plus 9x squared, when we divide the 18 by that new power of 2, minus 55x And then another simple u sub where u is x plus 3 and du is dx. Another one you should be able to do in your head. 164 natural log absolute value of u, or of x plus 3. And again, after all that work, make sure you remember your constant. Again, we're just going to do the exact same thing. We're going to put a 3 up in the box because that's what makes our denominator 0. We have 1x to the 5th, 0x to the 4th, 1x cubed, negative 2x squared, negative 1x, and minus 1. We'll do the synthetic division. We'll drop the 1 below, as we always do, multiply by the 3 that's in the box, add the 0 and the 3, multiply the 3 that's below by the 3 in the box, gives you 9. Add the 1 and the 9 to get 10. 10 times 3 is 30. Negative 2 plus 30 is 28. 28 times 3 is 84. Negative 1 plus 84 is 83. 83 times 3 is 249. And negative 1 plus 249 is 248. And now it just becomes a simple integral. We drop down to x to the 4th since we started at x to the 5th, plus 3x cubed plus 10x squared plus 28x plus 83 plus 248 over our original denominator of x minus 3. And we integrate to get x to the 5th over 5 with the power rule, plus 3/4 x to the 4th, again with the power rule, 10/3 x cubed with the power rule, 14x squared when we divide the 28 by 2, and 83x, and another simple u substitution here, where u is x minus 3 and du is dx. So we just end up with 248 natural log absolute value of x minus 3 plus our constant. All right, here is, again, another one that's just exactly the same. So we'll put our negative 4 up in the box. So that makes our denominator equal to 0. A 1x cubed, a 0x squared, a minus 5x, and a minus 2 for our synthetic division. The 1 drops below. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. 0 plus negative 4 is negative 4. The negative 4's multiplied together makes 16. Negative 5 and 16 is 11. 11 times negative 4 is negative 44. And add those together to get negative 46. It becomes an integral of dropping down a power to x squared minus 4x plus 11 minus our remainder of 46 over the original denominator of x plus 4. Integrate to get x cubed over 3 minus 4x squared over 2, or minus 2x squared, plus 11x. And then again, another simple u sub where u is x plus 4, du is dx. So it's just 46 over u, which is 46 natural log absolute value of u, or natural log absolute value of x plus 4. And of course, the plus c. All right, here is our first one that we can't just do synthetic division with right off the bat. But what we can recognize here, hopefully, is that 2x plus 2 can have a 2 factored out of it. Right? We can't do the synthetic division right off the bat because it has to be x minus a, or x, it could be x plus a number, right? But it has to be x minus a or x plus a number. Right? And so we can just take the 2 out of that, though, make that 2 times x plus 1. And our integral rules say take a constant out in front of the integral. So we'll just make it 1/2 of the integral of 2x squared plus 6x minus 3 over x plus 1 dx. And now we should be able to do the synthetic division with negative 1 in the box, because that's what makes the x plus 1 equal to 0. And then we'll put a 2 for the x squared, a 6x, and a minus 3, and do the synthetic division. the 2 drops down to begin with, and then multiply by the -1 gives us -2. Add those together to get 4, multiply to get -4, and add them together to get -7. So we end up with 1/2 the integral of, now we drop down by a power, so it's just 2x plus 4 minus 7 over, and it's now over x plus 1 dx there. And so we'll just integrate. We'll keep the 1/2 out in front for now. The integral of 2x is just 2x squared over 2, or x squared. The integral of 4 is 4x. And minus 7 over x plus 1 is another simple u sub, where u is x plus 1 and du is dx. So it's just minus 7 natural log absolute value x plus 1 plus some constant. And when we distribute the 1/2 through, we get x squared over 2 plus 2x minus 7/2 natural log absolute value x plus 1 plus, of course, some constant. All right, we just got a couple more of these here to go. Same process as before. We'll put the -2 in the box with a 1x to the 4th, 0x cubed, -1x squared, plus 5x, and a -1. The 1 comes down below the line. We multiply the 1 by the -2. We add the 0 in the -2. Multiply the -2 by the -2 in the box. Add the numbers in that column to get 3. Multiply by the -2 in the box to get -6. Add those together to get -1. -1 times the -2 in the box is 2. And add those together to get 1. And now we just rewrite it as dropped by a power to 1x cubed minus 2x squared plus 3x minus 1 plus our remainder of 1 over the original denominator x plus 2. Again, just a power rule till we get to the end. X to the 4th over 4 minus 2/3 x cubed plus 3/2 x squared minus x. And the integral of 1 over x plus 2 is still one you should be able to do in your head. It's a simple u sub where u is x plus 2 and du is dx. So it ends up being 1 over u, which integrates to natural log absolute value of u, or of that denominator x plus 2. And of course, don't forget the plus c. All right, here is our last problem. So again, we're just going to do the same process, synthetic division. We'll put a -2 in the box because that's what makes the denominator 0. Our coefficients are 3, -7, 2, 1, -5, and -1. We weren't missing any powers there, so we've got them all in. We'll just do the synthetic division, bring the 3 down. 3 times -2 is -6. -7 plus -6 is -13. -13 times -2 is positive 26. 2 and 26 is 28. 28 times -2 is -56. 1 plus -56 is -55. -55 times -2 is positive 110. -5 plus 110 is 105. 105 times -2 is -210. And add those together to get -211. So we just end up with the integral dropping down by 1 power of 3x to the 4th minus 13x cubed plus 28x squared minus 55x plus 105 minus our remainder of 211 over the original denominator of x plus 2. And using the power rule, we get 3/5 x to the 5th minus 13/4 x to the 4th plus 28/3 x cubed minus 55/2 x squared plus 105x. And for the last time here, that's just a simple u substitution where u is x plus 2, du is dx, so it's 211 over u, or 211 natural log absolute value of u, where u was x plus 2. And of course, don't forget the plus c at the end. And that is it. That is the end of this walkthrough for our integrating by dividing by a binomial homework assignment.